Chapter 14 is looking at education, health, and medicine. As far as education, this is a social institution where society provides its members important knowledge, including basic facts, job skills, cultural norms, and values. And schooling is formal instruction under the direction of specially trained teachers. There are many different functions of schooling. One, of course, is to socialize the young. The schools do use teachers and other experts to teach children knowledge, skills, and values necessary to function in the world outside the family. Another function is to transmit new behaviors, skills, ideas, and discoveries, inventions resulting from research. To give you an example, schools do teach typing instead of penmanship, the use of computers, and so forth and so on. Schooling is also used to integrate a diverse society, the creation of new knowledge, for example, medical tech knowledge that's developed in universities, the creation and transmitting of new culture. And another function of education is to select and develop through evaluation and testing those young people who have especially useful talents so that each individual will be as productive as his or her abilities permit. And of course, this is done with IQ tests and psychological tests. And then I want to say that attempts have also been made to use the educational system to decrease poverty. Education develops skills necessary to earn income, and special programs have been devised to help the poor develop certain skills. For example, some high schools and colleges offer students training in specific skills such as car repair. Programs like Head Start are designed to teach disadvantaged children skills they need to keep up with their peers. And the most rapidly growing area of education is the preschool program. There are also some latent functions of schooling, such as babysitting. It provides child care for the growing number of one-parent, two-career families. Age segregation, which is the separation of certain age groups from the larger population. Prolonged adolescence. In our society, children have been relieved of work roles for increasingly longer periods so they can acquire an education. The age of mandatory school attendance was raised from 12 to 14 and then to 16. Certainly the dating and marriage market, high schools, colleges, and universities all bring together people that are of the marriage age. Also, school networks can be a valuable career resource throughout life. The conflict theory of education studies how schooling causes and perpetrates social inequality. One is social control. Students do learn to conform to elite standards of behavior through the educational process. As far as standardized testing, critics do claim that the aptitude test that is widely used by schools do reflect our society's dominant culture, thereby places minority students at a disadvantage. Tracking, despite the controversy over standardized testing, most United States schools do use them for tracking. This is assigning students to different types of educational programs such as college prep, general education, vocational and technical training. One of the problems that the conflict theorists have with tracking is that the groups that's most likely to be tracked into high ability groups are students from privileged backgrounds. So the best schooling is going to go to students who are more privileged to begin with. Also, tracking programs can make average students feel less valued. Many problems in the school. One is discipline and violence. When I was a young girl, school problems consisted of chewing gum in the classroom, talking out of turn, cutting class, breaking the dress code. But today, schools are grappled with drug and alcohol abuse, teenage pregnancy, and just outright violence. Teachers have lost a lot of their authority to deal with troublemakers, especially young people who care very little about whether they're in school or not. Another problem is dropping out. Certainly the main reason for leaving high school before graduation is poor academic performance. Some results of dropping out of high school before graduation include available jobs are going to pay lower wages, there's a less chance of getting a job, and there are lifelong economic effects. Perhaps the most serious educational issue confronting our society is the quality of schooling. Nationwide, about 1/3 of high school students fail to master the basics in reading, math, and science. And for many, even basic literacy is an issue. Functional illiteracy means that many young people are leaving school without having learned the basic skills. Some of the recent issues in United States education, one is school choice. It is believed that giving parents options about schooling their children might force all schools to do a better job. There are all types of school choices. We have magnet schools, charter schools, schools for profit. We even have homeschooling today. Schooling people with disabilities, about 1/4 of children with disabilities, or half of children with disabilities, are schooled in special facilities. The rest attend public schools. Many join regular classes, including students with disabilities in the overall educational program is called mainstreaming. And this form of inclusive education does work best for physically impaired students who have no difficulty keeping up with the rest of the class. Adult education, older students ranging from the mid-20s to the 70s and beyond are going back to school. The most common reasons given for returning to the classroom are to advance in a career or train for a new job, but many also point to the simple goal of personal enrichment. A final challenge for the United States schools is hiring enough teachers to fill the classrooms. To draw people into teaching, schools are making it easier to gain teaching certification and offering higher salaries and sign-in bonuses. Now, looking at health, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. I have some of the leading causes of death in the United States in 2011. Here we're talking about the 65 plus group, but the #1 cause of death was heart disease. And taking a look at all these, men have higher rates of each one of these except one, and that is diabetes. As far as some central predictors to a long life, I have a long list here. You've probably heard these your entire life, but here they are again. As far as the genetic factors, I was surprised to know that it's long-lived grandparents, so it kind of skips a generation. It really doesn't have anything to do with parents. Social epidemiology, this is a study of how health and disease are distributed throughout a society's population. So basically, class, social epidemiologist wants to know the origin of the disease. They want to know how it's spread and how people's health is tied to their physical and their social environments. I want to say that death is rare among young people. It is elderly people that die, but certainly young people do fall victim to violence and automobile accidents and suicide. I do want to say women, regardless of race or ethnicity, have longer life expectancies than males. I want to briefly mention smoking because this is the greatest preventable cause of death. Cigarette smoking does top the list of preventable health hazards, and we all know that quitting is difficult because cigarette smoke contains nicotine, which is a physically addictive drug. A slightly larger percentage of men than women smoke, but cigarettes is the only form of tobacco use that is popular among women. Eating disorders is an intense form of dieting or other unhealthy method of weight control. One eating disorder is anorexia nervosa, which is characterized by dieting to the point of starvation. Another is bulimia, which involves binge eating followed by induced vomiting to avoid weight gain. 95% of people who suffer from anorexia nervosa or bulimia are females. They're mostly white and from affluent families. College-age women believe that being thin is critical to physical attractiveness, and certainly for United States women, our culture does equate slenderness with being successful, being attractive to men, and our idealized image of beauty tends to lead many women to diet to the point of risking their health. Sexual activity can transmit more than 50 kinds of infections or venereal diseases. Gonorrhea, syphilis are among the oldest of the diseases. Untreated gonorrhea causes sterility. Syphilis can damage your major organs and result in blindness, mental disorders, and death. Both can easily be cured with antibiotics such as penicillin, and neither one of them is a major health problem in the United States today. Genital herpes is a virus, though it is less serious than gonorrhea and syphilis, it is not curable. AIDS is probably the most serious of all the sexually transmitted diseases. It is acquired by the immunodeficiency syndrome. It is caused by the HIV, which is the human immunodeficiency virus, which attacks your white blood cells and weakens your immune system. And AIDS renders a person vulnerable to a wide range of other diseases that eventually causes death. Worldwide, heterosexual relations account for over 2/3% of transmitted cases of AIDS. Mercy killing, euthanasia, is assisting in the death of a person suffering from an incurable disease. There are two different types of euthanasia. We have active euthanasia, which allows a physician to help a sick person die, such as performing a deliberate act like administering a fatal injection. Passive euthanasia is the process of allowing a person to die without using any extraordinary means to save their life, such as withdrawing a life-saving sustaining therapeutic device. Socialized medicine. This is a medical care system in which the government owns and operates most of the medical facilities and employs most of the physicians. Ours in the United States is a direct fee system, which is a medical care system in which patients pay directly for the services of physicians and hospitals. We do this through private insurance programs, say from a family member's employment or labor union. We have public insurance programs such as Medicare and Medicaid. It was in 1965 that Congress enacted both of these. And then we have HMOs, which is an organization that provides comprehensive medical care to subscribers for a fixed fee. And I do want to say the cost and benefits do vary. There is hardly any insurance at all that is going to pay all medical costs.